Jordan Peterson has now found his way to Fox and Friends.
I've arrived.
He's arrived. This is the, and this is the professor, the Canadian psychology professor, who has risen to the top of the alt-light heap by basically, this is the new, and we mentioned this a while back, and it took a little bit longer than I thought, but when Republicans have control of our government, we end up seeing stuff like culture war stuff rise in prominence on the right. And years ago, it was the war on Christmas. And now, according to Jordan Peterson, it's the war on men, or the war on traditional gender, gender assessment, whatever it is. But I'm telling you, whatever it is that they're worried about, it is happening according to them. And it's all over, and it's going to sweep us all up. You sit there on your couch, Fox and Friends, and I sit here in my studio, and we're just minding our own business. But it's beating down the door, just like the Muslims, the gays used to do, and then somehow they're not as much of an issue anymore.
Not top priority in the same way.
They used to be. Or the secularists, they used to be coming for you. And the bra burners, they would burn your bra right off of your chest back in the day. But now, of course, it's those trans people. They're coming for you.
Now let's talk about something else that builds on your premise. This whole father-daughter dance that are being canceled around the country because of gender guidelines. Even Donald Trump Jr. weighed in with this quote: "The father-daughter dances inherently leave people out, not just because of transgender status, just life in general. These can be really uncomfortable, triggering events." That according to Jared Fox, New York City Department of Education.
All right, pause it for 1 second. Now clearly, Dum Dum got his teleprompter mixed up. Donald Trump Jr. did not say these leave people out and whatnot. Also, I would be willing to bet that if there were 100 father-daughter dances scheduled for this year in this country, or let's say 1,000, to the extent that any have been canceled, I would probably put that number around 1 or 2. This is exactly the same dynamic as the war on Christmas. There is a place in Wisconsin where they changed, Silent Night to First Night, and Christmas is not going to exist within 16 months.
Reminds me of what Donald Trump Jr. said about Chappelle's new specials, where he said problematic can illustrate and elucidate bigotry, but all too often I feel as if Chappelle is using comedic license. It was interesting.
Yeah.
John Jr. has some really interesting woke Twitter
All right,
takes.
so go back a little bit, and so this quote was not from Don Jr., but you go.
Even Donald Trump Jr. weighed in with this quote: "The father-daughter dances inherently leave people out, not just because of transgender status, just life in general. These can be really uncomfortable, triggering events." That according to Jared Fox, New York City Department of Education. What? So that's their response to cancel the dance, because there's a lot of people that can't go. Is there a problem with that?
Well, the problem with that is self-evident, but it's part of this absolute onslaught by the radical leftists on the fundamental normative structures of our culture.
Pause it 1 second. All right. Now, the good doctor says that the problems with this are self-evident. Now, I live in New York. I have a daughter. It is not totally clear to me what the problem is that some dance that I've never heard of has been called off because people can't. Or maybe for all we know, maybe they just aren't even calling it father-daughter. Maybe they're just calling it parent-kid.
That's not
dance.
as special as father-daughter. And maybe you're a cuck, frankly, and you're like, I don't want to do the daddy-daughter dance because it will hurt my rotator cuffs.
You had to explain that to me, so it's clearly not self-evident. Continue.
Boom.
Of our culture. And if you're going to cancel everything that's triggering to everyone, then you're going to cancel everything altogether. because there isn't a single thing that anyone can ever say or do that isn't going to offend
everything's
someone.
going to be
And
canceled.
the idea that this is being done so that certain people's feelings won't be hurt, I think, is absolutely absurd. It's not compassion and care that's
Absurd?
driving this. It's the desire to put forward a very pernicious ideology, and it's being very, very successful in its application.
But Dr. Peterson, they say that they're doing that to make things more inclusive.
Yeah, well, they say all sorts of things, and they are a very small, noisy, dangerous minority.
Pause
And
it. Pause it. First of all, I can tell you it is true. They say all sorts of things. That, I think, is self-evident. And these what do we even know what they're talking about? Like, what dance was canceled, or was it just changed to parents' kids?
I mean, these things have a way of changing as they go down the line until there's basically no truth left. If anyone knows, feel free to tell us.
It was changed to you can only dance with your kid if you're a tranny because they want everyone else not to dance anymore. It's absurd.
You know, the one thing is true is like, you know what you never hear about anymore? Sock hops. You never hear about anybody going to the sock hop anymore.
What the hell?
See? You see?
That's
That's how pernicious this is. Back in the 50s, everybody would go to a sock hop. But now, there's no sock hops. Ipso facto, the professor is correcto. Good.
All sorts of things, and they are a very small, noisy, dangerous minority.
Dangerous.
And it's really appalling that we're bending over backwards to do their bidding
None
without
of us were
question,
planning to go.
under the name of compassion.
A lot of my friends have been posting pictures of the daddy-daughter dance recently, and I think the pictures are so cute. Are little girls going to miss out on a memory?
Well, yes, for sure.
For
And
sure.
The thing
I'm
is
a
that even your
psychologist.
terminology,
I'm
when you're talking about
familiar
little
with
girls,
memories.
is something that's going to be increasingly forbidden as we demolish the classic gender ideas. And no one's going to benefit from that.
And
It's
people
going
start-
to be a real catastrophe.
I mean, people are even talking about
pictures on
deciding on what
Facebook.
gender they want to be as youngsters.
Yeah, well, that's happening all over. It's an absolute epidemic, and we've decided that
Pause it.
children.
Are you ready for the absolute epidemic that he's talking about? It's an absolute epidemic.
We have
That's
that.
happening all over. It's an absolute epidemic, and we've decided that children as young as 3 or 4 can now decide what gender they are, and then undergo the appropriate surgical and biological alterations to bring their morphology in keeping with that. And it's a mistake of epic proportions, and we're going to pay for it in a big
Only
way.
chicks
We do
with
hear-
dicks can dance with their children. It's an epidemic.
We have decided that children as young as 3 and 4 can begin to have gender reassiment surgery.
Oh, we need to
according
fact check this guy now? Okay.
Well,
Shocking.
I hate to do this. Because I know, people's own life experience. People see the gender reassignment surgery with 3 and 4-year-olds all the time. But
Can I have a non-funny fact check?
well, let me
this is
let me
the
do
fact
this.
check.
The World Professional Association for Transgenders Health say that 1, genital surgery should not be carried out until patients reach the legal age of majority in a given country, and that 2, patients have lived continuously for at least 12 months in the gender role. So that's 18 in in most of the states in this country. There are puberty blockers, which, to the extent that they're used in this country, the average age is around 12 and a half years old. All that does is it slows down or it prevents someone from hitting puberty so that they have the option of having less development if they decide. There's hormone therapy that on average happens at age 16 and a half. For kids ages 3 or 4 who are who feel that they are ID'd or their gender is different than what it was given at birth, they do stuff like dressing like the other gender, or styling with their other gender, or living in congruence with the other gender in some fashion or another. But of course, it's epidemic proportions.
It's the same way I can't call my TA a fine piece of ass anymore. My language is restricted.
You know what is an epidemic? Suicide among transgender youth. So,
Well,
sorry if I don't find his bigotry amusing.
price must be paid. Price must be paid
Like,
to maintain
It's
the
tribute,
normative.
like Shylock in Merchant
Like
of
he's
Venice.
such a bozo.
It's archetypal
But
thinking.
then I think about that and it's not even funny anymore.
Right.
Sucks.
Well, that's what this guy's going out there to defend.
You know why you don't think it's funny? That proves my other point, which is that men and women can't work together anymore.
Yes. In fact, let's tune in to Jordan Peterson, who just the other day said he wasn't sure that they can be in the same workplace.
Here's a question. Can men and women work together in the workplace?
Yes, I
How do you
do
know?
it
How do you know?
because I work with a lot of women.
Right. Well, it's been happening for what, 40 years? And things are deteriorating very rapidly at the moment in terms of the relationships between men and women.
And you speak
Is there
about
sexual
what-
harassment in the workplace? Yes. Should it stop? That'd be good. Will it? Well, not at the moment it won't because we don't know what the rules are.
Do you think men and women can work in the workplace together
We don't know.
without sexual harassment?
We'll see.
We'll see. How many years will it take for men and women working in the workplace together?
More than 40.
To get a sense.
We don't know what the rules are. Like what? Here's a rule.
Don't
How about
you-
no makeup in the workplace?
Why would that be a rule?
Why should you wear makeup in the workplace? Isn't that sexually provocative?
No.
It's not?
No.
Well, what is it then? What's the purpose of makeup?
Some people would like to just put on makeup.
Why?
I don't know why.
Why
people
do you
put
make your
on-
lips red?
Look good.
Because they
that's
turn
true.
red during sexual arousal. That's why. Why do you put rouge on your cheeks? Same reason.
Pause it for
I
one
mean,
second.
look,
Why
how
is this
about
guy?
high
Oh,
heels?
pause. Why does this guy grease his hair like that? Because maybe you sweat during sex. Why is he? Why is this guy put on that wear that outfit? Why is he wearing that sport coat?
Asians it might take only 15 years for Asians because you have less kiloliters of testosterone.
So how about this? Only black lipstick in workplace.
There can be black
I'm down with
lipstick
that.
and Chinamen can work in groups of women.
Well, let's
3 to 4
listen to
How about
it.
high heels?
What
What are they
What
for?
about high heels?
What about them? They're there to exaggerate sexual attractiveness. That's what high heels do. Now, I'm not saying that people shouldn't use sexual displays in the workplace. I'm not saying that. But I am saying that that is what they're doing. And that is what they're doing.
Do you feel like a serious woman who does not want sexual harassment in the workplace, do you feel like if she wears makeup in the workplace that she is somewhat being critical?
Yeah,
Okay.
I do think that.
There you go. You know, I'm sorry, but I
Phil,
think we can
excuse me,
put
I
the
need to go.
countdown clock on this guy.
Excuse me, if you'll excuse me.
There's going to be an unwinding, and it's not going to be pretty.
If you'll
That's what
excuse
would
me, I
bet.
need to go masturbate now. This conversation's been extremely stimulating.
I
And
like-
by the way, while we're at it, I think Jerry Sandusky was innocent.
Well,
Clear Jerry Sandusky's
he
name.
doesn't say that Jerry Sandusky was innocent.
No, I
he
do not.
simply thinks that there are some legitimate questions out there.
There's a
Those
lot of
kids were asking
questions.
for it.
It's not that they were asking for it. That's a
I
misrepresentation.
notice a lot of those kids have very flushed lips.
You know,
why
he-
would they do that?
I just realized it's
Why
a
would
bit,
that child be in Umbro shorts?
he's like Dr. Evil's like
I know. It's
like
a very
professor
Dr. Evil
cousin.
impression. It's a very
It's unbelievable.
He did evil, I did psychology. And the whole thing is absurd.
I like how nonplussed the guy is who's talking to him too. He's like, "What?"
Did a good job there.
Yeah, he did.